Welcome back.
Welcome back
Whoop.
to the Packy Run podcast. We are a mess. Well, I am a mess today.
Yeah, you're feeling a little sniffly there.
This guy's under the weather. I've still got my sense of smell. I've still got my sense of taste. Feel like I'm having trouble breathing besides the fact that my sinuses were filled up. So this is going to be a very low energy episode for AJ. But I am AJ, and this is the Packy Run podcast.
And I am the co-host who's better looking and healthier, Dan Mayod.
I don't even have the energy to argue that today.
This is great. I'm right.
I'll give you the win, but only for this week's episode. But we are here for you people because we didn't want to leave you hanging for another week. We're going to get into a little bit of the Patriots pulling out a win against Arizona, and then, as if it wasn't enough that it's flooding all of your Instagram and Twitter, we're going to talk a little bit about these most streamed lists that everybody's putting out on Spotify.
Yeah. Those things seem to be everywhere. I mean, it's this year was a little different for me. Usually I come in with the expectation of different weird things on my list, but this was actually a list that kind of geared towards my music taste, which that's weird.
True.
So what are you drinking today? Water?
Water, and I've got a special treat today. My first ever negative recommendation for drinks. I'm drinking Alka-Seltzer cold. I'm drinking Alka-Seltzer plus cold medicine, and it is the most god awful liquid of all time.
Yeah, that would do it. I mean, my favorite sick liquid is those emergencies and like the naked juice.
Yeah, I've got a couple of bottles of Body Armor. Have you tried this?
I have. I remember like after biking one day, like I stopped in a Walgreens and got some, and it's better than Gatorade. And like I feel like it's a little healthier than Gatorade as well. It's like less like it's like real sugar versus like corn syrup or whatever other chemicals that are in Gatorade.
Yeah, and it's definitely, I was surprised when I looked at the ingredients to find out that it's like coconut water based, because I don't do coconut anything. And yeah, I guess it's good for hydration and stuff like that. So I'm drinking my fluids, Mom.
True. You should drink some kombucha too.
I still have not brought myself to try it. I've been recommended a couple of different times. It's
an acquired taste.
Yeah, I hear it's real good for you though.
True. All those probiotics.
I was going to say like yogurt, but in full liquid form, I guess.
True. So anyways, Patriots played on, it's been a weird week for the NFL as a whole.
Did you say what you were drinking?
Oh, I'm just drinking water.
Still drinking that Charles River.
Oh yeah.
Sewage. Love it.
Been a weird week for the NFL. We're still technically, as we're recording this right now on Wednesday, it is still week 12 of the NFL season. The Ravens and Steelers game has yet to go on. That was supposed to be on Thanksgiving Day, but it's been keep pushing back. And now finally it's tonight, if it all goes according to plan.
I think it's supposed to start in like a half hour.
Really?
No, it's 3:30. It's 3:30 Eastern, so we've got another like hour and a half to go.
Oh, I guess it's starting. I guess it's live right as like we're recording this.
Oh wow.
So
Time to be alive. Wednesday football.
Yeah, Wednesday afternoon football. That's a weird feeling.
I can't imagine what that must have been like for like the television programmers, like the people that do the cable network programming. They must be absolutely losing their minds with this NFL season.
It's that and like the teams themselves, they have to like switch around everything to try to accommodate these games. Like because of the way it was, now Pittsburgh is playing a Monday night game at 5:00, December 7th, and then Baltimore is playing Tuesday, December 8th. So it's going to be a tough road for those teams ahead, at least as far as Patriots goes. I mean, we're not facing either of those teams, so that's a good.
Yeah.
But also,
we just have to. We're limping.
If we
to the
were,
finish
we
line.
would. If we were, that would give us kind of an advantage because, like, we're kind of on the right kind of scheduling, unlike those guys, and they're playing on short weeks.
Yeah. There's going to be like a Saturday triple header one of these days too.
Oh, probably. I wouldn't be surprised in the least.
That's insane.
That is. But since we're still in week 12 of this season, technically, actually, first, I want to say I hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving and stuffed their faces with food and talked to some of their loved ones on Thanksgiving. Because I know
I ate like a solid pound of turkey.
Hell yeah. I made so much good food for my immediate family.
Yeah.
But anyways.
Timed with everybody. It was a good day.
Exactly. But we start with the Patriots playing against Arizona. I think we expected this to be a very close game, regardless.
Yeah, I think we expected it to be a mud fest. I'm surprised that we did pull out the win, because especially with the way we played offensively, we had no business winning that game.
Yeah, our defense and our special teams kind of kept us in that game the whole time.
Yeah, they really pulled that out for us. Nick Folk.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure. I mean, I was very satisfied watching them contain Kyler Murray. I was very surprised by that, and kind of shows that maybe like the way that we were able to contain both Lamar Jackson and Kyler Murray, I think that bodes very well for us.
Yeah, it's the defense hasn't really been a question mark for us this season, where everything else seems to have been like, so there's been so much turnover, like literal turnovers, but I mean like turnover of staff offensively, and special teams has been, not quite as strong as it has been historically.
Yeah.
So like it's not super surprising that we played well against some of the best teams here. It's just that, on the offensive side of the ball, your defense your defense isn't really supposed to be the ones scoring. The offense has to be able to generate those points.
No, for sure. And I mean, we were able to get some big plays from like some guys who really needed to. Like Chase Winovich made a couple key plays in there. Adam Butler by far was the player of the game. He 5 total sacks, 5 total tackles, 1 sack, and 2 tackles for loss. I mean, that's huge. That's kind of what we need. He also had 3 quarterback hits as well. That's the kind of production that we need always.
And stands out especially well against a quarterback like Kyler Murray, who is, he has that speedy kind of leave the pocket and roll around in the backfield kind of deal. He's a hard one to catch. So to have that kind of production against him, that really kind of says something. Yeah.
And also, I said before, trying to contain DeAndre Hopkins, that was going to be a tough task to follow. And I was waiting to see what they would do. I mean, DeAndre Hopkins still had his sort of game. I mean, five catches, 55 yards, 7 targets. He did DeAndre Hopkins things, but he didn't go off as much as he could have in past games. Yeah. I think one of the key things with our team is our secondary. Our secondary still is able to get in there and create turnovers and make plays.
Yeah, where we've had so many offensive struggles, like we still have a secondary that's just nine games out of 10. The Patriots secondary is just better coached. There's better calls being made on the field. They're more prepared. You know, the ability to make someone like DeAndre Hopkins just not even really a factor. Like that's vintage Patriots. That I'm fine with.
Yeah, it was a grinded out game. The only thing I really didn't like was the amount of penalties that we had. Not more than usual. I mean, 6 penalties for 42 yards. That still, like, some of them were like awful, and some of them were ticky-tacky. Like there was that blindside block penalty. That was kind of a ticky-tacky one.
Which was especially stupid because how can it be a blindside block when it wasn't on the blind side? The two guys were facing each other. It had something, I forget what the announcers were actually saying during the broadcast. They had like an explanation for why technically it was a blindside block.
I remember seeing that on Twitter, and I was like, I guess it makes sense, but like, and I guess their interpretation of the rules, I think the interpretation of the rule could go either way. Like it wasn't a blatant call. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But there's been a lot of weirdness like that this season too. I can't tell you the number of games that I've watched where, you know, a receiver goes down and they're close, but definitely not close enough for a first down.
Right.
And they give them a new set of downs and move the chains.
We got a couple breaks like that this week for sure. I remember seeing that.
We got a few breaks like that this week. It was like there's no way he actually got the yardage to make that a first down, but I'll take what I can get, I guess. After we get robbed of a touchdown.
Yeah. Well, I mean, luckily the young rookie on the Cardinals, Isaiah Simmons, he made a lot of really key mistakes, or really bad mistakes going down the stretch. Like, what was it? He did like unnecessary roughness in like the second half.
Yep.
He did, I think it was like another roughing the passer, another unnecessary roughness on Cam.
Yep.
Just those. The point of this game was it was a matter of a couple mistakes, and we made the most out of the Cardinals' mistakes. I mean, that's what it came down to.
Yep.
It wasn't a pretty win.
Not at all.
It was, I think if you were to say, if Kyler was maybe a year or two more in the league, I think it would be different. I think it would be a different story, and I think the Cardinals would probably beat the Patriots. But based on them being a little younger and just an upstart team, not an upstart team, but like they're still in that rebuild mode, trying to find themselves.
Yeah, we were able to take advantage of that and pull a win out.
Yeah, I mean, the Cardinals have the air raid system. Where was the air raid? We kind of shut that down. Kyler only had 170 yards passing for the game. Not that Cam did any better.
We were really able to. Yeah, that's kind of the thing is, you know, defense. I think defense does win football games when you have a productive offense to back it up. And I think the unfortunate reality is that we don't have the offense this year. I think if we had a little bit more in the way of, you know, draft capital this year, if we had a little bit more in the way of just depth on the roster, I think we really could have been competitors this year. But we've just had it's been a combination of lack of depth and just really tough breaks.
Yeah.
I really think that if it weren't for the COVID diagnosis, I think we'd be like when Cam and Gilmore and the rest of them got COVID. That was really, we had the momentum building up, and then that was just kind of a shock to the system. And I still think we haven't fully recovered from that.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. And I think a player to look out for who he played kind of a role in this Patriots game, it was Dante Moncrief. And I would expect to see some more with him. I hope they incorporate him more into the offense, or they incorporate him with a kick return. Did a great job. Just everything that you would ask for.
Yeah, we keep having, it's been the same thing every week, and that's just kind of the identity of the Patriots this year. Is we have a lot. There's a lot of talent here, but it's a lot of like raw talent.
Yeah, for sure.
There's definitely, and there's a little bit of dead weight. I think that we're just, it's the definition of a rebuilding year, and I think pretty much every Patriots fan, I would argue you and I included, have just kind of been ignoring that fact for a while because we keep having these flashes and this competitiveness that keeps coming out.
I mean,
but I think at the end of the day, like, that's this team.
I mean, I said from like a while ago, I said Tom Brady should have retired after 28-3.
Yeah.
Like
happy to have one additional ring and
right.
2 additional Super Bowl appearances after that, but man, that would have been the time.
Well, like, my argument for it is there are so many great NFL players, and there's a lot of great NFL players that we hold in such high regard because they retired either on top or still in their prime. Like, they could still perform at a high level. They just chose, you know what, I'm going to hang it up. I'm not going to leave on a bad note. Like, Barry Sanders left, and he probably could have run for 4 more years. Maybe not 4 more years, but like realistically at least 2, and maybe hanging on to another 2.
Yeah.
Like, who are some other great players that we look at? Megatron, Calvin Johnson from the Detroit Lions. It seems to be a theme with the Lions. They waste people's careers. He retired in his prime. He probably could have kept going. Andrew Luck probably could have kept going. But they all left on a high note. We remember them in such a high regard. And there are so many other players like Joe Montana. Joe Montana, we always will think of him as a 49er and winning 4 Super Bowls, but those last couple years with the Kansas City Chiefs, no one remembers those. He was Peyton Manning his last year, like, he was hanging on by a thread. The man could barely.
That Super Bowl with the Broncos was just bad.
The Super Bowl, Peyton's last Super Bowl was the definition of everyone else doing the group project and you just showing up for the presentation.
Yeah.
That's what it was. But I digress. Like, if Tom Brady left, you retired on top, 28-3, greatest Super Bowl comeback of all time, there's not a question. Everyone would be like, you're the greatest football player of all time. Like, hands down. Case closed. And now
it's media speculation about him and Bruce Arians and whether or not they're even getting along.
Yeah, I mean, sounds like
a lot of losses that should have been wins.
It sounds like Bruce Arians is going to drive Brady to retire.
One of the two. I don't think they're going to be back together this year, or this coming year rather.
But I think we should also, with Tom Brady, I think we should cut him a little bit of slack because it is a new coach, new offense, new system, COVID, all that other stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we're doing with Cam. We've been doing this like this whole year with Cam. Like, hey, fans, cut him some slack. New system and everything. So, like, I think the jury is still out on Brady, and I think it doesn't
have to be.
I think a better indication of Brady in the Buccaneers is going to be next year.
Yeah, I would agree.
But next week, we have the Chargers, the Los Angeles Chargers. Boy, do I hate saying that.
I'm not terribly concerned about them. I think they're going to be a formidable opponent. I think what's his name? Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
That kid's got talent, and we've seen they're another team that seems to have like week after week. Again, not a team I follow very closely, but they seem to have a lot of those kind of flashes of really great players as well. So I feel like if I had to put money on it, I think I'd say that we win that game, but then we have to talk about playing the Rams the week after,
who have looked good.
Both teams have looked pretty decent, and we've struggled against pretty decent teams. So
if I had to guess it, this game, I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be, we're going to win by at least a couple scores. This team, the Chargers, can't seem to get out of their own way with how they play. They might have more talented players, but we are better coached in every single way.
And Bill just eats young quarterbacks alive.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10.
Although
so
Bill,
I'm not super worried about this
Bill
one.
has been very complimentary of Justin Herbert, which is very rare. He doesn't usually do that.
Been very complimentary of everybody this year.
Yeah, I mean,
it's very odd.
He sought out like DeAndre Hopkins after the Cardinals game.
He's getting soft in his old age.
No, I think you know what it is. I think he is always recognized. Like he's like you're one of those dudes that's like I respect because I have to like game plan around the whole time, and he's probably doing that with Justin Herbert. He has to game plan everything around this one guy to try to slow him down.
Yeah, I hear that.
But problem with the Chargers, they have a lot of injuries, and they've had a lot of really close, devastating losses this year. More so than the Patriots. I mean, they have at least 5 games that have been 1-score games, and they've lost the majority of them. How unfortunate.
I know.
Chargers don't even have fans. That's like been the long running joke of that franchise.
Yeah, they don't they don't pull numbers very well.
Well, want to know what's funny? So when they moved to Los Angeles, they moved into a soccer stadium where like the Los Angeles Galaxy play.
Yeah.
And they couldn't even sell that thing out. Like a soccer stadium has like 20 less seats in it, 20,000 less seats in it.
Yeah.
They couldn't sell it out. It was like half sold out, and typically it's overrun by fans from another team.
Yeah, it's a smaller market, especially considering the fact that you already have the Rams there too.
I mean, it's not a small market by any standards. I will never get why they moved to Los Angeles. It's just they're never going to be the Rams. They're never going to be successful there. But we'll see.
Yeah, it's one of the confusing things about the Raiders too.
Yeah, Las Vegas Raiders.
Doesn't roll off the tongue.
Nah. But this will be the back-to-back road games. They're both going to be played in LA. So they're just going to stick it out in LA for like a week and a half.
Yeah, they're going to wait it out, which I think is the smart move. Going back and forth across the country that way is going to be a lot.
Yeah, especially with everything else that's going on. Even without everything that's going on outside of the world or outside of football, that would still be terrible.
Yeah. Not the way to go, but
yeah. But I expect the Patriots to run the ball some more. I mean, they're
shocking.
What?
Shocking.
Yeah. Totally shocking. It's totally a hot take to have.
Listen, when we run the ball, we run it pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, we know who we are. We just have to compete and do what we can. And basically, it's like we just can't make mistakes. Joey Bosa is going to be very hard to stop for this team. He is the pass rusher for the Chargers. I think Cam needs to. He doesn't. It's not that he needs time. He needs to step up, and he needs to step up in the pocket and get rid of it at times.
Yeah, can't keep holding on to the ball and letting people get to you.
Yeah, that's been my main concern and complaint with him, I think. But also on the flip side of that, we need to get our receivers in space.
Yeah, we can't keep having issues where people aren't running their routes correctly.
It's either that or just people just not being open. We'll see. I would expect the Patriots to win this game. I'd say by 10. That would be my guess.
I'm all right with that. I think it'll be a one-score win, but that's just because we've had these, we had struggles against the Jets, man. Like, we're not doing great.
I mean, 6-6. That would put us right back into the playoff hunt.
Yeah, playoff dreams are still alive, hanging on by a thread.
Which I don't know how I feel about that.
I'm not feeling super good about it, but I don't know. Just give me all the football that you can.
That is true.
Yeah, I think that's Patriots news for this week.
Yeah, I think that sums it up. Next thing on the agenda, we are going to go over our Spotify lists.
Well, so here's the thing. I'm not a Spotify user.
Of course you're not.
So I'm an Apple Music guy. So I don't have that list. I don't have the breakdown that so many people have. But in case you haven't seen it all over your Instagram feeds or whatever, there is like a year-end list kind of thing that Spotify makes for everybody. And it's all about what you listen to, who you listen to most. I think that there's a lot of it that's kind of, I think a lot of it is kind of not real. Because there's so many people that post pictures on Instagram where it says they're in like the top like 0.05% of listeners for a band. It's
right.
Like, well, that narrows it down. That narrows it down to like probably 50 people. And there's no way that I know all 50 of you, so something doesn't check out.
That would do it. I saw one they were the 0.001% for the 1975.
Yeah, that's like there's no way. It's also really interesting to see the people like hyping all of these things up on their social media when they're one of the top listeners of a band or something, and then you look at like what money that band actually made from Spotify.
Yeah, I mean
that leaves a little bit of a bad taste in the mouth.
It's yeah.
It's not a great look for Spotify, but it's the world that we're living in.
Especially since that's my main line in work, working artist on Spotify.
Getting playlist placements and stuff.
Yeah, trying to get placements and everything. I mean, it works. It's just, it's all about the energy at the end of the day.
True.
Can't really divulge into anything else.
Yeah, and there's been so much. I mean, the one thing is that's probably going to be at least a little bit better this year because live music has been just so decimated that some of these streaming platforms are probably going to actually have to pay out some decent money to labels and artists because that's the only way that people are actually, consuming a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like, as far as the music industry goes, live music and live events, that's not working out so well. But as far as like the digital side and the digital streaming side, which I work in the digital side and PR, people are still going to put out music no matter what, which that's exciting.
That's true.
But what?
That's true.
Even if there's nothing else going on, they're still going to do something with it. And talking about live streams, I'm sorry, those don't do a thing for me.
Yeah, it's not really my my cup of tea, to be honest.
It didn't do anything for me when before this, and it still hasn't. Like, I've tuned into a couple and I'm just like, it's just not the same.
Yeah, it's not the same energy. It's always, so many of those things, the sound isn't really all that it could be.
For sure. And I think part of it too is like you get, one of the nice things about shows is like you get that banter. You get that same sort of energy. It's hard to explain.
You're not getting a lot of that when it comes to these live streams. It's some people have tried to play with the banter thing and like treat it like it's a live show, but when there's no actual crowd interaction besides, comments and stuff that are streaming in at a mile a minute, it's just not the same.
No, but as far as I try to pull my Spotify up, or my Spotify, I'm trying to do this on my desktop and I can't, or my laptop, and I can't figure it out.
So while you look it up, I've got so Apple Music they call it the Replay 2020, which is just a playlist of like your most played songs throughout the year. Mine is very, very pop centric. It starts with my most played song of the year, I guess, is Narcissist by No Rome, featuring Maddie from the 1975.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a big one, clearly. And that song is pretty insane. I really like the production on that one, and very pop centric. Great single. And then after that, every other most played song for 12 songs is the All Time Low album that came out at the beginning of quarantine, or around like March time-ish, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So I was listening to that a ton, especially for the brief time that I was back to commuting to work.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds about right for you.
That was just on all the time. Underneath that is Blinding Lights by The Weeknd, Fast by Juice WRLD.
Juice WRLD, really? I wouldn't expect that from you.
Yeah, I'm not a big Juice WRLD fan, but that one song is really, really great. Beneath that is a couple of the songs from the reworked version of Hello Exile by the Menzingers. It's the album's called From Exile. I've got 3 or 4 songs from that. Leave Your Love Behind by Brad Teller, and then it's like a mishmash of a bunch of older songs. Sleeping In by Hundredth and a couple of other things. And I just lost Dan in the middle of talking about this. What a bummer. But yeah, so I've got like a mishmash of a bunch of different things going on my year-end playlist, but I don't have like a breakdown of how much time I spent listening to different artists and things like that. So I just have my little year-end playlist. But my song of the year by far is Leave Your Love Behind by Brad Teller, because Brad really knocked it out of the park on that one.
True. I'm going through the whole thing because I like how Spotify does it. Says I discovered 472 new artists this year. So that's really cool. Genre list. It says who have you go outside to explore. Oh no, I just like watching it. I have listened to 416 genres this year, including 46 new ones. I wonder
new ones compared to like last year?
Well, 46 new ones compared to last year, and I think 416 just throughout this year.
Wow.
And I think it's probably a lot of nicky, like ticky-tacky, like things that just run into the same thing. Like The World is probably punk, pop punk, emo, indie rock.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's probably nothing that's crazy.
I don't doubt it.
What were my top
with your
ones?
Line of work,
what?
With your line of work, you're also exposed to so much of that new stuff that you wouldn't necessarily go and find on your own.
That is true. I mean, I have been listening to Christmas music since late September.
Oh, no.
I mean, you get used to it.
Oh, no.
So for number 1, it's alternative emo. No surprise there.
True.
Number 2, rap. 3, rock. 4, indie rock. And 5, soft rock.
Soft rock is a little interesting, but...
What?
Soft rock is interesting, but okay.
I mean, have you listened to my playlist? I'm jamming in this Applebee's.
I have.
Come on, there's a lot of banger soft rock hits in there.
Yeah, that's...
My top song was... What? Yeah. That's a good recommendation for anyone who's needs just a general party playlist. There's some new stuff in there. There's some old stuff in there. There's 80s. There's rap. There's classic rock. There's, just all the hits that you need for a good party.
Yeah. Love the name of that playlist.
My top song was Scram by Jeff Rosenstock, which makes sense. That's off his latest record.
Good record, too.
What's
I'm
up?
not the biggest Jeff Rosenstock fan, but I do really like that new album.
It's just perfect for political climate, especially when it came out.
And Scram is definitely one of the top songs from that album. So good choice, good listening.
But a year like 2020 required backup. These were the other songs you had on repeat. Let's hear them out.
Here we go.
All right, number 2, Nike's Alt, Jeff Rosenstock. Number 3, No Time, Jeff Rosenstock. Number 4, No Dream, Jeff Rosenstock. Number 5, Uptown Girl, Billy Joel. So that's where my head is. That's where I'm at as far as this year goes. Sometimes you just need a jam. What?
Sometimes you just need Billy Joel, the best to ever do it.
What's up?
Billy Joel, the best to ever do it. That's incredible.
And then I got podcasts, and my top one was the Strong Opinions Sports podcast, which I've recommended in the past. And if you haven't listened, I would recommend checking that one out if you want to listen to a guy our age talk about football.
We're coming for him, though.
Nah, I like him, though. I've spent 3,750 minutes listening to podcasts this year. And it's all probably Strong Opinion Sports, Office Ladies podcast, and the H3 podcast. And this one.
Yeah, I know for a fact that my top 2 podcasts are... my top 2 podcasts are The Worst Possible Timeline with Eric Wilson and Patrick Kinlan.
Yeah.
Which is just very it's just like a humorous, really real take on political Twitter and things like that. I really enjoy that every week. And then my other top podcasts that I just listen to, it's one of the only podcasts where I can listen to episodes repeatedly. I can listen to an episode more than twice, is Dear Hank and John with Hank and John Green.
Nice.
Which is one of the only YouTube channels. They are the Vlog Brothers, and also John Green is an author. Actually, Hank is an author now too. And Hank founded VidCon. Basically, they're behind the scenes of so much of modern internet culture. It's kind of crazy. And they're both just 2 middle-aged white guys that talk about fun nerdy shit and answer questions from listeners on their podcast every week. And they are delightful. That is the word that I would use to describe it. There's so much negativity and stuff, and there's so much critical thinking involved when it comes to listening to podcasts, especially this year. And they're just delightful and silly, and I love listening to them.
I haven't gotten into their videos or listened to their podcast, but remember whenever you had it on in our room or in the common room or whatever, they were always interesting to listen to. They weren't they seemed like down to earth guys not caught up in internet narcissism, which I think a lot of people social media stars get caught up in.
Yeah, they're one of the most interesting things, and they've talked about it a bunch on their channel this year, is the fact that they have when you listen to like influencers and YouTubers and stuff talk, so many times it's all about like building out. They're always trying to like build out their brand, and they're talking about expanding, and they want to go like this way or that way or whatever.
Right.
And they're the first kind of internet personalities that I've ever heard talk in terms of just like, we are not trying to grow this channel. We're not trying to expand this channel. And they talk about the podcast in a very similar way, where they're just like, we have like an audience, and it's a sustainable audience, and it does kind of like fluctuate, but they are, down to earth seems to be the way to describe them.
True. And I guess another podcast I listened to was, there was a really good, you're really into basketball and you're really into early 2010s basketball. There was ESPN 30 for 30 Shorts came out with a documentary series called the Sterling Documents. I think that's what it's called. And it's about the owner of the Los Angeles Clippers, and pretty much he was racist and he got called out for being racist. There's like a famous TMZ tape of him being racist, and it documents all his past transgressions and how he has been racist in the past, and how he probably should have been kicked out of the NFL, like not NFL, the NBA a while ago. But the NBA was kind of incompetent about it. And then they found a reason.
I remember.
Yeah. So if you want to listen to something interesting, that I would recommend that. Love that. Apparently my biggest podcast binge listen was, they say you threw your own The Michelle Obama podcast marathon, listening to 4 episodes in one day. Now, first off, no, I didn't. I did listen to a couple episodes of it, but it was at the very beginning, and everything was like I'm looking at it now, 2 minutes, 1 minute, 9 minutes and 30 seconds, and then I listened to 10 minutes of the first episode or so, and then stopped listening. So that's deceiving.
You'll listen more intently when Oprah's the next guest.
I mean, I did see Michelle Obama get interviewed by Oprah.
You were Oprah's #1 fan on Twitter for a while.
I was, and now I am top Nets fan on Facebook, which I am. I do have that badge. Hey,
I don't know what to do with you sometimes.
Hey, no shame in it.
No shame, November.
Which is over, by the way, and thank you for those who donated to my Movember.
Good stuff. I need to. I participated in spirit, and my beard is getting long and unmanageable.
True.
I need to rein it in, but I do not have the energy.
Apparently I listened...
Also, I'm not really trying to impress anybody, so...
That's fair. I mean, we're still technically in quarantine.
Yup.
You listened to Nike's Alt before it hit 50,000 streams. Next up, finding the new Millennial Pink. Okay, Spotify.
Okay.
Throw it back. Since time wasn't real this year, you revisited some old favorites.
Such as?
Apparently 2000s. Just the regular old 2000s. And my top song in the 2000s was Can You Feel the Love Tonight by Elton John.
Nice.
Come on, that's a banger.
Very nice.
That is
Yeah, that's great.
That's a strong song.
That's awesome.
Who was by your side in 2020? Other than your houseplants, of course. And now it's guess your top artist of the year. It's Lawrence, Good Looking Friends, Pine Grove, and Jeff Rosenstock. Well, Jeff Rosenstock seems to be the safe choice here, since he's 4 of my 5 top songs.
That's, yeah.
And I'm
that
in
one
the
doesn't surprise me.
And I'm in the 1% listeners in this year for Jeff Rosenstock.
How does it feel to be getting these accolades as a fan of Jeff Rosenstock?
I mean, he's good. I mean, I'm just kind of like meh towards it.
Yeah.
But at least I'm the 1% at something.
I know.
If I can't be the 1%,
Finally made it to the 1%.
I can't be the 1% of wealth, at least I can be the 1% in Jeff Rosenstock listener.
Jeff Rosenstock
fans. You listened to 1,242 artists this year, and my top artists are Jeff Rosenstock, Pinegrove, Lawrence, Good Looking Friends, and Pup. That's been a recent band that I've really started to get into.
Yeah, a little late to the party there a little bit, but
I mean,
good band.
It's funny because I've seen Pup a couple times, and I would watch them, but I was just like, okay.
Yeah.
But that band is so good.
They're unreal live.
Yeah, they are.
Great band.
I will say this, I am so used to with these lists just being all the artists that I worked throughout the year.
Yeah.
I'm used to seeing some country in there, some Christmas songs even, some...
The technical issues begin.
But I am so used to seeing my past artists just show up in my top lists. And usually it gets it completely wrong. Usually it pegs me as only listening to pop and country and different kind of rappers, and occasionally, what are some other like weird artists that I have worked with? I've worked with children's artists, but this is like the first year where it's like, no, you actually have stuff that you like.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. It's a weird thing to me because like through high school and college and stuff, especially when I was writing for websites, there was so much like emphasis and such a big thing where you got to do like your year-end lists and stuff. Mm-hmm. So it's really funny to see like that was super nerdy and like not necessarily very popular even just a few years ago, and now everybody who has a Spotify subscription is like super into their lists and being like, this is my song of the year and everything. It's funny how the culture changes and like how punk music is still like kind of ahead of the curve with a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Anthony Fantano has been doing this for years.
Yeah.
Melon Boy.
The best teeth in the effing game.
I mean, he is the most well-known music reviewer.
Built a brand on it. But he needs to bring back the meme review.
Oh, yeah. That's something. I think as far as like I made I did make a Spotify playlist of newer rock, because new rock albums that came out this year, because it is kind of, I think as rock music as a whole, it's kind of a dying thing.
Yeah.
Just to put it bluntly. And there's not a lot it's not being promoted as much. Partly because rock music has been stuck in 1999, and partly because it's just not the cool thing. Rap and hip hop are.
Not what the kids are into.
No, it's not. It hasn't been popular since Fall Out Boy was making...
At their height.
Yeah, at their height. I would like argue that was like the last time rock music was was good. In the mainstream, yeah. As in, not... I mean, there's still always going to be good artists that come out there. I would have liked to see in my list Nudie Mag. I thought their album Our Milk, that was phenomenal. Remo Drive's new record was actually pretty decent. Beach Slang put out a really good record. I would recommend if you want some of that like old school like 80s rock, hit that up. That would be a high recommendation. Higher Power, their album 27 Miles Underwater. That was like a perfect mix of like a hardcore and like a alternative rock album. Very 90s-esque.
Yeah.
And looking at some of the other ones, I wish Father John Misty made it the more. I know he put out like a new EP as well. And Gleamer. And like another one, they came out with an album on Dad and Mom and Pop. I think it was Beach Bunny. Beach Bunny, that was a good record as well. But unfortunately, it looks like I only listened to Jeff Rosenstock on Spotify.
Well, you got to stick with the hits.
That is true. And I mean, that was a good record. And Jeff Rosenstock always puts on a good show. So what can I say?
Is the man.
And he used to live...
that's met him would say it.
What?
Everybody who's met him seems to say that he's a cool guy too. So
yeah, he used to live in my neighborhood back in Brooklyn.
You guys could have been best friends.
It's funny because he like moved to LA and he didn't post his address, but like he took pictures of his stuff outside of his apartment, and I could easily just find it.
You knew where it was.
I did. I was like, this is literally down the street from me. Not that I would do that. That's really weird. Don't stalk.
Exactly.
Don't stalk your people that you like, because that's kind of weird and sketchy.
I back that statement.
All right.
Well, I am losing steam. I gotta go make another thing of Alka-Seltzer, find something to eat, and we'll, unless you have... I don't even have recommendations this week. I'm just out of it.
I don't have anything for this week. Yeah, nothing. I got nothing for you.
The low energy episode we told you guys at the beginning. All right. Well, we will be back. We will be back next week. Hopefully I will be feeling much better and we can go back to our regularly scheduled programming. I think we're going to do a deep dive on an album next week. So we'll get that out when we need to. But until then, I think I might order a pizza.
You can't order pizza in Nashville. It's not going to be good.
I know, it's going to be terrible. But hey, when you have a cold, you should get a pizza and Tootsie Rolls.
That's fair, I guess. But
they're medicine.
It's medicine for the soul.
If they don't hurt, they have to help.
True. All right. We're going to talk to you next week. Take it easy.
Bye-bye.